Yo, everybody, it's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week at drroto.com. If you have not been to the website, Dr. Roto 2.0 is live, and the website looks fabulous. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So let me talk to you, right? This is Bring the Pain. We're not going to go a little crazy like we did last time with my utter hate for the Tennessee Titans signing DeAndre Hopkins, who's been one of my favorite players for a long time. We're going to talk IDP 101 and what it takes to make you a champion. Look, a lot of people disregard IDP, and a lot of people are going to probably stop this podcast maybe at this point because they don't want to listen to why IDP will win them a championship. I've done multiple podcasts on this, so you can always go back. But let's just talk about IDP. IDP is more than just tackles sometimes. It's also what your league allows. You can't go into a draft thinking that, hey, I'm just going to draft a player that's going to get sacks. So immediately, somebody who thinks like that is going to draft Aaron Donald. Of course. Why wouldn't they? TJ Watt. Why wouldn't they? Nick Bosa. Why wouldn't they? Joe, you get the whole point. All right. So while they're doing all that, you should be doing your research or coming to drroto.com and checking out the research that I do so that you can win and draft those players. Now, the best part about a lot of leagues is also knowing your roster. A lot of leagues will not allow more than 2 linebackers on a roster. That being said, you need to remember that, and you need to know that if you can only have 1 linebacker, that when it comes to that 1 linebacker's off week, that you have to make sure that you have a backup option, right? What's your backup option? It would be a good defensive end, of course, or a DT, of course. Most likely, it should be a safety or a corner, not a corner. Cornerbacks are good. And if your league merits pass defense, then that's even a bonus. And that can really be a lucrative point too. A lot of leagues, they'll do pass defense for like a point. And you get a corner, that gets a lot of action. They don't definitely the great corners ain't going to get that much action. But if you get a corner that gets an action, it gets their hands on 3 balls, a few tackles, you got a 7-10 point game. That is the difference right there. That is what makes you different in what can win you a championship. Now, I've done the podcast, like I said, where I showed that between Roquan Smith and Jalen Petrie during the last 3 weeks of fantasy season literally performed perfectly for me. It wasn't the best performances of those weeks every week, but it was the most consistent, and they worked themselves up. So that is why when you look at that and you go, well, what can IDP do for you? Well, somebody that doesn't scout IDP well at all will pick those players, and they're going to have a 4-point or 6-point game. They don't really have a big chance to get an explosive game. Like TJ Watt can, again, pass defenses. He does jump up, tap balls, things like that. That's different. But at the same time, you need points. So when you play these plays, you come to drroto.com and check out the defensive end articles. You go, oh, well, that's great. Because every single week I put out an IDP article that will have the best pickups, the most consistent pickups at the time. And at the end of the article, I always give out 2 players that are really low owned in your league that you can go get. And Jalen Petrie was one of those players. And what made him perfect was it wasn't just the last 3 weeks. A lot of people want to talk about, well, what did he do? Well, when you go over his entire point, if you go from week 13 to week 17, so you're trying to get into the playoffs, right? You got to win these last few games. Well, you get that. You get that week 13 at Cleveland when he has 16 tackles and 1 interception. Now you ask, where's the 101, Rob? What Heat over, Rob? What are you doing, man? Where's the ooh yes? Where's all the power? Why are you teaching at us, man? You don't do this. You got your head up. You ready to go? Your arms be flying out. Yeah, my arm is flying out, right? And this is why it means so much. It means so much to me because I literally take advantage of any league that have IDP in them because it's simple. I do the research, more research than most people, and that allows me to be more in sight of the best players that are coming up. So ask yourself this. Well, why did Jalen Petrie have 16 tackles at week 13 against Cleveland. I wonder why. Because at week 13, Nick Chubb had 17 rushes. Now he only had 80 yards. Again, week 13, I had Nick Chubb on this championship team. I just told you Jalen Petrie outscored Nick Chubb in week 13. Why y'all sleeping? Why are all of you sleeping on that? You don't understand. Like, okay, whatever. People that listen to my podcasts and go read my articles and go to drroto.com are going to win your championships. Just sign it up. That's what we do. We literally have people in championship games every year since we've been open. And that's what makes it better is we love doing that. We love making you better. I want you to look at the defensive players. I want you to come into our Discord and talk to me and go, he'd override. I got a last second. Who do I pick up? I got you. I got you. You just got to ask, right? That's what we're here for. But you find that funny. The point I bring up, Nick Chubb's rushes and Jalen Petrie's tackles, is because, yeah, he just didn't tackle Nick Chubb the whole game, but it shows that the flow of the game. And that is one thing. I'll let a little of my secrets out. I will not give out any of the other ones, but I will give out this. It's easy. Look at it. Look at your running backs. Look at your coaching staffs. Look at what puts you in that position. If you know a team has a star running back like Tennessee, you know they're going to run Derrick Henry down your throats, and then Derrick Henry's going to come out and somebody else is going to get a few rushes, then you know you have opportunity. The opportunity that you have is a chance, at least, if Derrick Henry is going to have 15 to 20 tackles in a game that he plays most, you could see him hit even 30 sometimes. But that coming this year, who knows? But if he's running the ball that much, it's common sense to know that that guy is going to be out there that much. That means the other receivers, the tight end, quarterback making a bootleg, those are all opportunity to tackle. You know, nobody has IDP stats that be ripping out like what we do. And the stat is when you literally have this many tackles in a game, you could say, well, easily just look at how many plays were run. That should give you a good tackle total. Well, some of those plays go penalties, and penalties don't count. And some of those plays, of course, go for touchdowns or pick sixes. And then your IDP player should be the one that you want. Then that'll help you with that as well. That is the key to IDP. That is your 101. So when I'm looking and assessing teams from week to week, the first thing I do is always look at the teams that are always going to play a lot of plays. Like, you know, Kansas City, you know, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going to run a lot of plays, right? So then that means it's the same. Even you can flip to the Rams. You know that Cooper Kupp is going to be coming over the middle, right? You know he's going to be doing fades, right? Who's going to cover a lot of those? It's going to be your interior linebackers, and it's going to be your safeties, mostly your safeties. This is why you have defense passes in leagues being credited now. That right there puts everything together for your team. And understanding that, and that is just one step in IDP 101. The second step is learning to identify which players are going to hit that week. And it's not always going to work out for you. But again, using just that first tool and a couple of the other things that I like to always add in, that is where I come up with my rankings and show it. That's why when I go out and I go on Twitter and I go, hey, I had a guy in my pickup section that was 12% owned in most leagues, and this dude just scored a touchdown and 2 picks. That is huge, huge for your leagues. And it should be definitely paid attention to, especially if you're putting your money up. Don't you want your money back? I mean, you want money back, right? People like money. If you like money, Dr. Roto is the place for you, and that's for sure. And, you know, we can also go over to Hunt, you know, because Kareem Hunt was part of that team. And Kareem Hunt, you know, when you go to week 13, 9 rushes for 56 yards, right? So between him and Chubb, you have 26 runs. 26 runs. So that right there is your key in your rule Number one to IDP, opportunity. That's why IDP matters. Hashtag that, what we do. I'm not going to run this one too late. So I want to make sure that you head over to Dr. Roto, check out my rankings, read my IDP tiers, go check out some of my podcasts covering those IDPs tiers too, because that helps you explain this. And using this episode right here to help you win your IDP leagues is going to be more than enough for you to understand that that's why at Dr. Roto, we bring the pain. Oh, yeah, people. Football season's coming up. Let's go.